Chain for Change. Newsletter 2020, Volume 1. Introduction. Imagining an inclusive world where persons with visual impairments and others function according to their complete capacity, with respect, dignity, and cooperation in all the facets of the society, and accomplishing all the aimed objectives. Chain for Change, CFC, Parivartan Kulagi Sanjal, Pralash, was formed on 20th September 2017. Comprehensive participation of young leaders with or without disabilities in the Executive Board. From its preliminary days, the organization seeks to ensure no persons with visual impairments and others may undergo through redundant and avoidable difficulties that these executive members have encountered due to lack of correct guidance and adequate knowledge. With the presidency of Mr. Abhishek Shahi, the agency is on a voyage to accomplish its goals by carrying out its plans and programs along with the support from local partners with or without visual impairments, humanitarian stakeholders, and generous international supporters. Annually, 50 or more new members with visual impairments and others participate in this Chain for Change.
Vision, mission, and goals. Vision. Chain for Change envisions persons with visual impairments to live their lives with full dignity and equality by acquiring all the basic needs as well as properly utilizing their rights and inhabiting in an inclusive society where persons with and without disabilities reside with comprehensive acceptance and mutual cooperation.
Photo description. Page 2, Picture 1. The image contains around 17 hikers with visual disabilities and their peers who are about to begin their hike from the main gate at Shivapuri Nagarjun National Park.
Mission. To carry out programs and projects for persons with visual impairments and other concerning individuals with a target to augment their life and create inclusive society by indemnifying their rights, meeting their fundamental goals, and discouraging discrimination. Goals. To provide skill and personality development programs so that persons with visual impairments could put up with the advancement and challenges of the competitive world. To have proportionate participants from persons with and without visual impairments in events and programs organized by the agency to deliver proper understanding, provoke empathy, and insight about the abilities of one another. To make aware and indemnify the rights of blind and visually impaired persons, as well as identify the prevalent problems and effective solutions.
Photo description. Page 3, Picture 2. The image contains founder and director of CFC, Mr. Abhishek Shahi, and co-founder and treasurer, Ms. Sanjya Shrestha, on the stage showing and explaining fellow trainees how to use their white canes correctly. Trainees with visual disability are being guided by their peers in learning, understanding, and following the steps being demonstrated to them. There is a sofa and chair placed above the stage, and banner of Chain for Change is also hanged on the wall.
Objectives. To facilitate with different skillful, educational, service-oriented, and personality development training and programs so as to empower the visually impaired person in all the facets and guide them to identify their abilities. To have proportionate participants of persons with and without visual impairments in all the programs and campaigns organized by the agency. To collaborate and establish scribe and guide clubs in various educational institutions focusing on to provide scribes of all the level who would assist and facilitate visually impaired person in their examination, as well as assist person with visual impairment in their academic research theses. To collect essential educational materials and reproduce, republish them favorably for visually impaired person with an aim to ensure their right to education. To conduct researches concerning historical and contemporary issues of persons with visual impairments and identify prevailing problems relating to persons with visual impairments, along with effective measures to solve them. To ensure and protect the rights of persons with visual impairments, the organization can produce informative and public awareness contents and disseminate via available platforms and medias. To recognize and honor those individuals who help and assist persons with visual impairments in the society and motivate them to continue their philanthropic actions. To appeal and advocate for necessary laws and regulations for persons living with visual impairments with the government.
Photo description, page 4, picture 3. The image contains 4 participants discussing in a group in the event of panel discussion on the general overview of disability laws in Nepal.
Activities and programs. Awareness on blindness and their mobility with white cane distribution. On 21st March 2018, Wednesday, Chain for Change organized an event regarding the awareness of blindness and the prospect of mobility persons with visual impairments in Nepal at its own office. The trainees from BASW Department of St. Xavier's College Maitikar, Kathmandu had presented about the scenario of blindness in Nepal and demonstrated a short drama to display proper guiding techniques to persons with visual impairments. The at-hand participants with visual impairments received white canes as their mobility aid.
Photo description, page 5, picture 4. The image contains the guest of the event, Mr. Kim Prashai, providing the certificate of appreciation to one of the scribes, Ms. Siksha Sivakati. On the background, the banner of the organization can be seen. Photo description, page 5, picture 5. The image contains chief guest Mr. Jose Manuel Cabo Rozuela handing white cane to one of the visually impaired participants, and in between them the founder and director Mr. Abhishek Shahi is observed. Just beside the chief guest, his wife and Miss Sharmila Khadki can be seen, and the banner of the organization is at the background.
Awarding Certificate of Honor to scribes and other honorary personas. On 20th July 2018, Saturday, Chain for Change organized an event named Awarding Certificate of Honor to scribes and other honorary personas, with an aim to admire scribe for their contribution in assisting visually impaired person in their examination, along with those good-hearted persona who helped the organization in any way possible. 30 scribes and philanthropic individuals were awarded with certificates of appreciation and token of love on that day.
Panel discussion on general overview of disability laws in Nepal. The panel discussion was organized on 22nd December 2018, Saturday at Sukedara, Kathmandu. The program had approximately 50 participants from persons with and without visual impairments. The event had offered a presentation jointly by Ms. Rupika Buddhashrestha and Mr. Suraj Udas on the topic Comparison between past and present disability laws in Nepal with some general overview. Right after the presentation, 3 panelists working in a similar field delivered their lectures under the issue. Mr. Rajiv Shrestha, Chief Officer at Hospital and Rehabilitation Center for Disabled Children, shed light upon the challenges of existing laws and treaties that are prevalent in Nepal. Mr. Padam Bhattarai, working as an advocate, explained about the new disability right and concerning fundamental laws in the Constitution of Nepal. Similarly, Mr. Bhim Bahadur Parajuli, who is also an advocate, discussed on the sociological aspect of disability laws in Nepal. At-hand participants also had a wonderful opportunity to pose their questions and inquiries as well as hold effective group discussions.
Photo description, page 6, picture 6. The image contains around 23 to 26 members of second Thames, the orchestra band, who are posing in the staircase of Watrin Hall of St. Xavier's College, Maitighar, Kathmandu.
Abhilasha, the charity orchestra concert and screening documentary. Chain for Change partnered with Expedición Solidaria and Second Thames to organize 2 days charity event on 24th April 2019 and 27th April 2019 in Pokhara and Kathmandu respectively, with an aim to spread adequate knowledge about institutionalizing the disabled-friendly infrastructure and approaches to inclusive education through the projected documentary, as well as offer entertainment through Western orchestra and local music. Approximately 500 people became a part of this event. Around 15 persons with visual impairments were given white canes and their mobility aid.
Photo description, page 6, picture 7. The image contains founder and director of CFC, Mr. Abhishek Shahi, and co-founder and treasurer, Ms. Sanjia Shrestha, are on the stage showing and explaining fellow trainees how to use their white canes properly. The banner of the organization, sofa, and a chair is observed at the background.
Celebrating International Youth Day 2019. On 9th August 2019 Friday, Chain for Change joined forces with UWA to celebrate Youth Day in a theme transforming education. The documentary, entitled Wings of Consciousness, produced by CFC, got chance to feature in a week-long project held in Janapat Secondary School, Kalanki, Kathmandu.
Photo description, page 6, pictures 8. With a view of Nagi Gumba at the background, 11 hikers with visual impairments are posing in a group with a bright smile. Hikers in the front row are holding the banner of the organization too.
Guiding techniques and mobility skills for persons with visual impairments. This project, entitled Guiding Techniques and Mobility Skills for Persons with Visual Impairments, was 3 days training package for both persons with and without visual impairments of Nepal. There was proportionate participation of 9 visually impaired trainees and 9 trainees with good vision. Though the project name only included visually impaired person, but it was also focused for persons who had correct eye vision and willingness to guide visually impaired. Ms. Surmila Khadki acted as main trainer, and other board members for Chain for Change assisted her during this course. The 2 days training was held in Parupakar Adarsha High School, Phimsentan, Kathmandu, on 30th October and 31st October 2019. During these days, correct mobility skills in both indoor and outdoor for persons with visual impairments and proper guiding techniques for persons assisting visual impairments were trained for indoor and outdoor setting. On 2nd November, hiking to Shivapuri Nagarjung National Park was done as to implement theoretical learning to practical setting for 35 people. Participants were also provided with white canes during the hike for smooth navigation. These entire events were being captured and documented by the camera crew of Mr. Gagan Thapa, who was assigned to prepare a documentary and snap the pictures of the happenings.
Other programs. Internship and traineeship opportunity. Chain for Change provides internship and traineeship opportunities for the students and volunteers who are willing to pursue their career in this field from all over the world. The organization had 2 interns from St. Xavier's College, Maitighar, Kathmandu from November 2017 to May 2018. The interns worked with the organizational members in conducting research about the contextual condition of persons living with visual impairments in Nepal and their challenges, as well as extending their hands in completing administrative tasks and organizing events. filming and screening documentary and tutorials. To reach geographically diverse population, mass media and social media plays a crucial role, as it is inevitable to avoid advanced platforms to seek for knowledge and entertainment. Chain for Change has also been publishing contents related to awareness and promotion about the issues relating to persons with visual impairment via various mediums such as YouTube. Courageous Steps. Visually impaired can travel the world. Courageous Steps is the documentary which portrays that disability cannot stop anybody from traveling the places of the world that they desire to visit. It is about the 11 hikers with visual impairments who had set their desire to explore the beauty of nature from their heart and sense the magnificent art along with their peers with good vision. After the 2-day training, 35 ramblers, including the participants with and without visual impairments, volunteers, and family members, went for a historic expedition of lifetime to promote Visit Nepal movement for all. If government could make some small changes to make the hiking routes accessible for persons with disabilities, tourism sector would be benefited throughout this inclusive approach.
Wings of Consciousness, Chetana Ko Paketa. Documentary on Inclusive Approach by St. Xavier's College. Wings of Consciousness, Chetana Ko Paketa is a documentary filmed by Chain for Change, where it has depicted how St. Xavier's College, Maitikar Kathmandu, has taken its initiation of inclusive approach in making the place accessible for students and staffs with disabilities, especially students with visual impairments. When talking about inclusion, people normally think that the most important aspect to improve is to install friendly infrastructure. But more than that, mutual acceptance, welcoming behaviors, and homely environment tops the chart. There is a need of acknowledging real abilities within the disabilities and realize that disability is not only the battle of people living with it, but also of other members of society who rarely have the audacity to combat it. Beating all odds, St. Xavier's College and their teaching and non-teaching staffs had put all their effort to prove that small steps can bring big changes and create a greater impact in the world. And why shall we not take such steps and make the academic institution open to all? The college is on the verge of inviting everybody and serve inequality, and it's our responsibility to promote, motivate, and support such a commendable initiation. The sole objective of Chain for Change is to spread the positive message and effort that they have put up in envisioning education for all. The concept design and direction of this documentary is jointly done by Mr. Abhishek Shahi and Ms. Sanjaya Shrestha, along with the camera crew of Mr. Yusuf Gautam. Our higher appreciation goes to St. Xavier's College and entire family who gave us this wonderful opportunity.
Menstrual Talk Campaign 2020. Chain for Change conducted online discussion event Menstrual Talk to 40 and more participants with and without disability from all age, gender and background for 2 days via Zoom application. Ms. Sanjaya Shrestha, Treasurer of CFC, Peer Educator of Family Planning Association of Nepal, gave presentation on menstruation and hygiene. 3 registered nurses, Mrs. Bisu Subba Ale, Ms. Shweta Paudil and Ms. Manisha Nagarkoti served as a medical expert to address the queries of at-hand participants during both the sessions. Sudeep Gautam, President of Unity for Change, Program Officer of Blue Diamond Society, shared how trans men face menstruation and how society view them. Gautam also clarified that not only heterosexual females menstruate, but there are also homosexual women, transgender men, and bisexual women who experience this monthly cycle. Ms. Srishti Casey, founder and director of Blind Rocks, stated that even disability in a person has no connection to their natural process and believes that biologically females with or without disability have menstruation. Menstrual Talk photo contest was also organized during the campaign, where 34 participants from all age, gender, and background with and without disability, played a part to spread our social message, break the silence of secret secretion, heard to 30,000 and more people. Top 5 participants receiving higher votes were rewarded.
Experience sharing. Awarding Certificate of Honor to scribes and other honorary personas. Kempersai Devinder Paudel. Teaching profession is and must always be highly motivated with service and contribution. St. Xavier's College has been providing education based on values from past 3 decades. Annually, students from different geography, culture, religion, and community perceive education and graduate from this college, and we have become a part of this venture for around 15 years. In our voyage of teaching in this institution, we have been abiding not only Jesuits' norms and values, but also accomplished our roles with higher responsibility. In between this tenure, we have received opportunity to teach students with visual impairments and realize that disability cannot stop anybody in acquiring knowledge. Our national poet Madhav Prasad Khimire said in his poem, Tunga ko kap forera pani umransa people, sirzana sakti sansarma kahile hudena bifal. Likewise, students with visual impairments had always proved with their excellent performances in their classroom as well as in their examination. Not only we have taught them in classroom, but also obtained bountiful occasions to learn from them, read with them, and struggle with them in certain situations. Their constructive and outstanding presence had always galvanized us in our teaching process. There were instances in between our lectures where we had difficulties in explaining our preaching to them. However, we felt very contented when we were able to make them feel and understand our deliberation in a friendlier manner. It is even more challenging and frustrating for students with visual impairments to search for a scribe rather than preparing for their internal and board examinations. Empathizing this, we aided them in finding scribes for writing their exam papers. This made us become yet more sensible and pragmatic. It was a complex task to persuade the junior students and convince their parents by the same token. At times, we had to phone the parents of the scribe for requesting their consent and approval. With all these problems and their remedies, assistance and amiability, we have become very close from our hearts. At the present, they have already completed their academic journey from this college. These birds have flown from the precipice of the college, fluttering their wings of consciousness. They are striving through the hills of life. We wish them for their perennial success in their future endeavors.
St. Xavier's College, Sonu Gyawali. I like taking the class, but I hate giving my exam papers. It is not because I'm lazy in my studies. It is because I don't get scribes for giving my examination. This is a universal statement that I, Sonu Gyawali, and every student with visual impairments feel and experience being in one of the underdeveloped countries like Nepal. We don't have the facility to write our exam papers in braille nor through computers. Scribes are the only available option for us. This is why we worry more about finding the scribes rather than our examination. If we somehow find scribe with the assistance from some individual, there are many things to consider upon. In the checklist, handwriting tops the chart. When our answer sheets are being evaluated by the examiner, they never ever think over reading the answers if the writing is poor, as well as deduct marks even though it is not the fault of visually impaired students. They examine our answer paper like other students. Another problem that I normally face during my board exam is by the invigilators in the exam centers. As we are given compensatory time of 1 hour, they are found providing only 3 hours. The provision is clearly stated, but they give us a lot of trouble. First, we have to explain our answers, then scribes have to listen to the spoken responses and simultaneously record it in their mind. Only after that, they can write it down. Invigilators don't seem to apprehend this complex process, nor do colleges support us. Once, I had a scribe who was very indolent and literally uninterested in scribing. That individual was unfaithful in nature and found lying to me. Whenever I used to ask the scribe, "How far have we covered?" the response would be that a page was completed even though it was just the halfway around. At the present, students of St. Xavier's College are serving as a scribe for me in my examination, and I am so happy that they are very outstanding. The credit goes to our Nepali teachers for aiding us to find such good scribes in all our terminals and final exams. At the end, I would like to request everyone to serve people in need with their pure and full heart and grasp that unselfish service is the supreme virtue of humanity. Thank you.
Sibika Silwal. When we grow older, we will discover that we have two hands, one to help ourselves and other to help others. Namaste. I am Sibika Silwal, and I want to share with you all a little about my experience as a scribe. I would like to begin with the reminiscent of my first exam that I've written. I remember the day when Sir came to me offering this wonderful opportunity where I could serve a visually impaired examinee as a scribe. I was completely unaware about the process, the pattern, in fact everything. I was a little nervous, but excited too since I was about to do something new. Eventually, the exam day had come. As soon as she arrived, we headed towards the exam hall. We got our question paper and we were all set to begin. First, she asked me to read out the question. As I finished reading them out, there were rarely any questions she said that she had not studied or she did not know. Then after, we started working on answers. She explained it to me with such a beautiful references which made me able to understand the concepts thoroughly, thereby enhancing my confidence. The first question that I was writing for carries 15 marks and we were to write around 8 pages. I was quite nervous at that moment, but as she began explaining and I went on writing, we completed around 5 pages without my realization. Similarly, we appeared on other exams and those 5 days ended in no time. I remember the moment when I used to panic due to the pressure of time. 5 minutes remaining and we have 2 questions worth 5 marks yet to attend, but she used to handle the situation so well. In that 5 minutes, first she used to calm me down, make me believe that we could do it, and then explain her answers to my mind, which had been completely emptied due to all the panicking. However, we would manage to write all the answers and did not miss any of the questions. During all this process, what I understood about visually impaired students is that they completely believe on we scribe and they trust on our answer without any doubt. They have a high level of trust. They have high level of patience. They explain every answer as many times as we ask them. Besides that, they are very supportive. Even today, I remember a lot from this subject. So, lastly, I would like to say that if you ever get this lucky chance of helping anybody as a scribe, take it and give your 100%. Be helpful. If you see anyone without a smile, give them yours.
Saugat Gautam. Bewildered, frightened, excited and whatnot. The mixed emotions struck me as a gong is struck by a hammer when my teacher asked one of us to write an exam as a scribe. I didn't ponder anything. A divine force raised my hands up at the drop of a hat and made him bless me with that opportunity. My teacher was so pleased that he poured me all his blessings with his charming smile. I could feel that. The only thing which was hovering around my mind was, I am going to do something good for someone. The next hour was waiting me to gush a new experience when I met him. He, a student of BA 3rd year, visually impaired, cherished when he knew that his scribe had come to meet him. Oh, his smiling was the most relishing moment of my life. In the heat of the moment, we had a bit of a conversation. We exchanged our names and addresses. When I went home, being very delightful and shared my parents about me scribing for a visually impaired during his examination, they twinkled, stated, "Our son has grown big now." How contented I was when I saw them being happy. The night before the exam day, I couldn't sleep well. I, a +2 student, was appearing in BA third-year exam as a scribe. What if my hands tremble? What if I can't write as fast as he wants? What if I do not wake up on time? I live 6 kilometers away from the college, and it takes about half an hour to reach there, provided there is no traffic jam. So I had to wake up early. Such thoughts gave me goosebumps the whole night. Fortunately, I fell asleep a little later, and the next thing that I heard was not my thoughts questioning my head, but the clock with its alarm storming my ears. Hopefully, with a prepared mindset, I left home and reached before time. The exam started, leaving two of us in a small cabinet. I wrote what he dictated. He would ask me, underline some words, change paragraphs, recite spellings, and I would do the same. He also asked me to draw some pictures, for which he would trace the image on my palm and I would understand him. It's surely a breathtaking task for me to solve those perplexing questions and extended answer in 4 hours. In those 5 days, I was totally fascinated by his fluency in giving answers. I wondered how the words could be recalled from his reminiscence despite being visually impaired, how hard it would be to remember those spellings. I felt being dictated by a genius rather than an impaired. He attempted each and every question. I salute his determination, dedication, and diligence. They say experience is the best teacher. It is for sure. I left some of my classes, but it didn't make any difference. The thing that mattered the most was I did something good for someone.
Guiding techniques and mobility skills for persons with visual impairments. Pavana Adhikari. At first, I would like to thank the organization Chain for Change for providing us such a great opportunity to participate in this effective training program. Really, those 3 days were very wonderful and effective. It was my first time participating in such guiding and skill development training program. I got to learn a lot of new things. Before, I felt difficulty when I had to deal with persons with visual impairments. I had no idea of handling them while walking with them, though I used to try, but after this training, I got appropriate knowledge to help them. I learned a lot of skills that are proper to use while making them walk on the road, stairs, narrow path, or through doors, eating with them in cafeteria or in kitchen and making them sit comfortably in any place. For 2 days, we learned proper guiding and mobility skills in both indoor and outdoor settings. On the 3rd day, that is the last day of training, was the most wonderful day. We went for a hike to Shivapuri Nagarjun National Park. That day was the day where we could apply all those guiding techniques and mobility skills in the field that we learned throughout the training. We completed our destination with our visually impaired pairs guiding them very well. We had a lot of fun there. Personally for me, it was a huge pleasure and opportunity to guide and support persons with visual impairment. Getting directly involved in the program and helping them improve their mobility skills made me so happy. I must say, those 3 days were such a wonderful and memorable days of my life. At last, I would be very thankful if this organization would organize such types of beneficial programs in future and also wish to be a part of it.
Trisha Lama, Chain for Change team put forward a new concept where I got to learn many new things which I never thought was important. We always learned the technique that helped us to move outdoors only, but this time, it was something different. I learned to walk in those places which are totally new to me. I like the way the trainers and the organization members train the trainees. I'm happy that I could go for hiking with all my visually impaired friends and our partner with good vision in a pair. I believe the training was fruitful. The best part of the entire training session was to bring both persons with and without visual impairments together. I hope I will be able to take part in such programs in near future. Thank you profusely for having me as a participant. I cannot thank you enough for providing me with the rolling white cane. If such trainings could be organized in the future, no one would be left behind. If the organizers could extend more days for the trainings, then there would have been enough time to learn all the techniques properly. Thank you a lot.